stop for a moment. Do not rush past these words as if your heart has heard nothing. There are seasons when you keep moving because you are afraid that if you finally become still, you may have to face everything you have been carrying. You smile while something inside you is tired. You answer people while your own heart is searching for an answer. You remain strong for everyone else while quietly wondering who will be strong for you. But I have seen what no one else has seen. I have watched the tears you wiped away before anyone could notice them. I have heard the prayers you could not even finish because your heart was too heavy to find the right words. I have remained near you in the moments when you thought you were completely alone. And today, I am calling you to listen carefully because you do not have to continue carrying every burden by yourself. You have spent too long trying to appear unbroken. You have told people that you are fine when your thoughts were restless. You have continued working when your strength was fading. You have shown love to people even while wondering why your own heart felt so empty. You have carried memories of rejection. You have remembered words that wounded you. You have questioned whether you were truly enough. But hear me clearly, the pain that touched you does not define you. The rejection you experienced does not determine your worth. The doors that close behind you do not mean your future has been closed. There are things I allowed you to walk away from because what you could not see would have eventually harmed your peace. I know you have asked why certain people left. I know you have wondered why some prayers seem to remain unanswered for so long. I know there were moments when you looked around and felt as though everyone else was moving forward while you remained in the same place. But your life is not measured by another person's timeline. Do not compare the work I am doing in you with what you can see happening around you. Some roots grow deep before anyone sees the tree. Some preparation happens in silence before the door opens. Some seasons feel empty because I am teaching you not to build your identity upon noise, approval, attention, or temporary success. What you called delay was not always denial. What you called a closed door was not always defeat. What you called a pause was not always abandonment. There were moments when I stopped you because you were moving towards something that would have drained your spirit. There were relationships you wanted to keep that would have required you to lose yourself. There were opportunities you wanted immediately that you were not yet prepared to carry. So I held you back, not to destroy your future, but to protect it. Now I want you to stop interpreting every difficult season as proof that I have forgotten you. I have been present in the waiting. I have been present in the silence. I have been present in the nights when you had no explanation for what was happening. My child, I am not only interested in changing what surrounds you, I am also restoring what is within you. I want to heal the part of you that became afraid to hope again. I want to touch the place where disappointment taught you to expect the worst. I want to remove the burden of guilt that keeps reminding you of mistakes I have already forgiven. You cannot walk freely into a new season while continually punishing yourself for an old one. Learn from what happened, but do not build a permanent home inside yesterday. Release what you cannot change. Forgive where forgiveness is needed. Take responsibility where responsibility belongs, and then allow yourself to move forward with wisdom instead of shame. There is a difference between being careful and living imprisoned by fear. Fear will tell you that every new opportunity will become another disappointment. Fear will tell you that because one person betrayed you, no one can be trusted. Fear will tell you that because you failed once, you will fail again. But I am calling you back to faith. Faith does not mean pretending that nothing painful happened. Faith means refusing to allow pain to become the ruler of your future. Let your experiences make you wiser, but do not let them make you hopeless. I am bringing clarity where confusion has remained for too long. I am teaching you to recognize what deserves your attention and what must be released. Not every voice deserves access to your heart. Not every opportunity is your assignment. Not every invitation is meant to be accepted. This is why you must become still enough to listen. Before you make the next decision, pray. Before you react in anger, pause. Before you chase another door, ask whether it is truly leading you toward peace and purpose. You have spent enough time exhausting yourself by trying to control every outcome. Surrender does not mean giving up. Surrender means placing what you cannot control into my hands and faithfully doing what is yours to do. And I want you to prepare your heart for change. The season you have been living in has taught you things that will matter in the season ahead. Do not throw away the lessons simply because you are tired of the struggle. You learned how to survive when resources were limited. You learned who remained when others disappeared. You learned that appearances can deceive. You learned that strength is not always loud. These lessons will help you when new opportunities come. Remain humble when people begin to notice you. Remain grateful when doors begin to open. Remain grounded when recognition comes. Elevation without character can become another kind of burden. There are people who will eventually see what they once overlooked. There are opportunities that may come because someone recognizes your faithfulness, your work, your integrity, or the gift you have carried quietly. Do not allow bitterness to control your response when that moment arrives. You do not need to prove yourself to everyone who failed to understand you. Let your life speak. Let your character remain steady. Let your peace become evidence that you are no longer living for the approval of people. If you agree with this message and you are ready to release fear and move forward with faith, type yes in the comments. Let that be a simple declaration that you will no longer allow yesterday to control tomorrow. But listen further, because this message is not only about what is leaving your life, it is also about what must be restored. Some of you have been tired for so long that you no longer remember what peace feels like. You wake up and immediately begin thinking about responsibilities. You carry concerns about your family. You worry about finances. You pray for someone you love. You wonder whether your body and mind will ever feel rested again. I have seen the weight you have carried. You were not weak because you became tired. You were human. You were not faithless because you needed rest. Even your heart needs a place to breathe. So begin applying this truth in your life. Stop calling yourself lazy when you are exhausted. Stop forcing yourself to remain available to everyone when you need a moment with me. Stop filling every quiet moment with noise. Make room for peace. Make room for prayer. Make room to examine what is truly draining you. You cannot heal a wound that you continually pretend does not exist. Bring it into the light. Speak honestly in prayer. Release the anger you have hidden. Release the grief you have postponed. Let your heart become honest before me. I am able to restore your strength, but you must also stop returning to the places that repeatedly destroy it. Wisdom is part of healing. Boundaries are part of peace. Forgiveness does not require you to continue accepting what keeps harming you. Love does not require you to lose your identity. Faith does not require you to ignore reality. Let me teach you how to love with wisdom, give with discernment, and move forward without carrying unnecessary burdens. Stay with this message until the end, because every part will help you reflect on what you have been carrying and what you need to change in your daily life. Do not merely listen for a moment of emotion. Take these words into your choices, your relationships, your prayers, and your future. Peace grows when truth is practiced. And if these words have brought comfort to your heart, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this message with someone who may need encouragement today. And if you feel happy and blessed by these words and want to support my ministry so more people can receive messages of hope and faith, you may use the support link given below. Let us continue this journey together, because what is ahead is not a reason for fear. It is an invitation to trust, to heal, and to walk forward with a stronger heart. Beloved, there is something you must understand before you allow fear to speak again. Not every battle means you are losing. Not every difficult day means your future is being taken from you. Sometimes the greatest work is happening where your eyes cannot reach. You have been looking at what is visible and wondering why nothing seems to change, while I have been working beneath the surface, arranging, protecting, strengthening, and preparing you for what is ahead. You wanted immediate answers, but some answers could only come after your heart was ready to receive them. You wanted the door to open quickly, but some doors require preparation because what waits beyond them carries responsibility. Do not mistake silence for absence. There were days when you prayed and heard no immediate answer. There were nights when you asked me to show you what to do, and morning arrived with the same questions still resting in your mind. You wondered whether your prayers had reached me. You wondered whether your faith was too weak. But I heard every word, even the words you could not speak aloud. I understood the tears that became your prayer. I understood the sigh that carried more pain than 1,000 sentences. Nothing that you brought before me was unnoticed. I know you have been praying for people you love. You have looked at someone close to you and wished you could remove their pain with your own hands. You have worried about their future. You have watched them struggle while feeling helpless. Perhaps you have carried concern for someone in your home, someone in your family, or someone whose suffering has remained hidden from others. Do not allow helplessness to convince you that love is useless. Your care matters, your prayers matter, your presence matters. Continue to bring those you love before me, but release the impossible weight of believing that everything depends upon you. You were never created to carry the entire world on your shoulders. There are burdens that belong to you, and there are burdens you must place into my hands. Learn the difference. You can encourage someone without becoming responsible for every decision they make. You can pray for someone without allowing their pain to destroy your own peace. You can love someone deeply while recognizing that you cannot force healing, change, or understanding. This is where wisdom becomes necessary. My child, I am teaching you how to remain compassionate without becoming consumed. I am teaching you how to serve without forgetting that you also need rest. I am teaching you how to give without emptying yourself for people who refuse to receive wisdom. Some of you have become exhausted because you have confused love with carrying everything alone. But love is not always taking control. Sometimes love is praying, speaking truth, offering support, and then trusting me with what remains beyond your strength. Look honestly at your life. Where have you been trying to become the answer to every problem? Where have you continued worrying after prayer instead of trusting what you place before me? Where have you sacrificed your own peace because you are afraid that if you stop worrying, something terrible will happen? Worry is not the same as love. Anxiety is not proof of responsibility. You may care deeply and still choose peace. Begin practicing this in your daily life. When a fearful thought enters your mind, do not immediately allow it to become a story about the worst possible outcome. Pause. Ask yourself what you actually know. Ask yourself what belongs to your responsibility today. Then do what you can with wisdom and release what you cannot control. This is not weakness. This is trust with action. Faith does not mean refusing to face reality. Faith means facing reality without surrendering your heart to despair. There are also wounds inside you that have remained hidden because you became so busy caring for everyone else. You have asked others how they are doing, but you have rarely allowed yourself to answer the same question honestly. You have become the strong one, the dependable one, the person others call when everything goes wrong. But who are you when the room becomes quiet and there is no one left to impress? Who are you when your own heart asks for comfort? Do not run from that question. Bring the real answer before me. If you are tired, admit that you are tired. If you are disappointed, admit that you are disappointed. If you are angry, do not hide behind false words. I already know what is within you. Honesty is not rebellion. Honesty can become the beginning of healing. You cannot continually speak words of peace while refusing to acknowledge the pain that needs attention. Let truth enter the places where pretending has lived too long. I want to restore the parts of you that rejection tried to damage. Some of you are still living as though the people who hurt you are standing in the room. Their words have become part of your inner voice. Their rejection has made you question your value. But I am asking you to separate what happened to you from who you are. Someone failed to recognize your value. That does not mean you had no value. Someone left you. That does not mean you were created to be abandoned. Someone spoke carelessly about you. That does not mean their words became your identity. Stop repeating over yourself what I never declared about you. Stop allowing old wounds to become permanent definitions. You are more than the moment that broke your heart. You are more than the mistake that embarrassed you. You are more than the season when everything appeared to fall apart. Learn from the past, but do not keep giving it authority over your future. If these words are speaking to your heart and you are ready to release the burden you were never meant to carry alone, type Amen in the comments. Let it remind you that you are choosing faith over fear and peace over endless worry. There is a restoration of strength that must begin within you. Not the kind of strength that forces you to pretend that nothing hurts, but the kind of strength that allows you to rise after resting. You have believed that stopping means falling behind. You have believed that if you rest, everyone else will move ahead of you. But your worth is not determined by constant activity. Sometimes you need to stop long enough to understand what has been draining you. You may discover that not every relationship deserves the same access to your heart. You may discover that some commitments need to change. You may discover that you have been saying yes when wisdom was asking you to say no. Do not be afraid to make healthy changes. Peace sometimes requires new boundaries. Healing sometimes requires distance from what repeatedly reopens the wound. Growth sometimes requires leaving behind patterns that once felt familiar. I am not calling you backward. I am leading you toward greater clarity. What appeared to be a standstill may have been a moment of protection. What felt like being delayed may have kept you from making a decision that would have cost you dearly. Trust that not every unanswered desire was a loss. Some things had to be removed because they were taking you away from the life I was preparing you to build. And now I want you to look ahead with new eyes. Do not assume tomorrow must repeat yesterday. Do not enter every new day expecting disappointment before anything has even happened. Prepare with wisdom, but leave room for hope. Continue to pray. Continue to learn. Continue to work faithfully. Continue to care for your home and the people entrusted to you. But stop demanding that you understand every step before taking the next faithful one. Some changes will happen gradually. Healing may not always arrive in the form you expected. Sometimes restoration begins with one peaceful night after many restless ones. Sometimes strength returns through small choices repeated every day. Sometimes a relationship changes because you finally learn to communicate honestly. Sometimes provision begins when you stop wasting what is already in your hands and begin using your gifts with discipline and courage. So do not overlook the small beginnings. The future you have been praying for may begin with a decision you make today. Answer the message you have been avoiding. Forgive the offense you keep replaying. Organize the responsibility you have neglected. Return to prayer. Ask for wisdom before making the next move. Take care of the heart and mind that you have ignored. This is how faith becomes part of daily life. You are not being asked to carry the future all at once. You are being asked to walk through this day with wisdom. Take the next step with courage. Release what you cannot control. Protect your peace. Pray for those you love. And remember that you are allowed to receive the same grace you have so freely offered to others. Stay with this message until the end, because there is still more to understand about the season of waiting, the doors that have remained closed, and the new opportunities that may require you to recognize your own value. Do not simply listen and forget. Carry these truths into your life. When fear returns, return to prayer. When exhaustion returns, return to rest. When confusion returns, return to truth. You are not forgotten. Your prayers have not disappeared. Your quiet faithfulness has not been meaningless. Keep walking, keep growing, keep your heart humble and open, and when you cannot see the whole road, trust enough to take the next step. If you feel this message has helped you today, comment, "I will trust," and let your declaration become a reminder that you are no longer walking forward controlled by fear. Beloved, now listen with a quiet heart, because the season you have called waiting has been teaching you more than you realize. You have looked at the passing days and wondered when your faithfulness would finally produce visible fruit. You have asked when the work would be noticed, when the prayer would be answered, when the door would open, and when the long silence would finally give way to movement. I have heard those questions. I have seen you continue, even when you felt unseen. I have watched you choose integrity when taking an easier path seemed tempting. I have seen the sacrifices no one applauded, the kindness no one remembered, and the responsibilities you carried without demanding recognition. None of these moments were wasted. There are seasons when your life appears hidden, But hidden does not mean forgotten. A seed is buried before it rises. A foundation is placed beneath the ground before anyone admires the house. Preparation often happens where applause cannot reach. This is why you must stop believing that only visible success has value. There were important things growing within you while you were waiting for something to change around you. Patience was growing. Discernment was growing. Discipline was growing. Your understanding of people was growing. Even your disappointments were teaching you where not to place your future hope. I know that sometimes you became impatient. You saw others receiving opportunities and wondered why your own efforts seemed unnoticed. You compared your path with theirs and questioned whether you had fallen behind. But comparison can make you blind to the progress already taking place in your own life. Do not imitate another person's journey simply because their results are visible. What I am shaping within you has its own purpose. Your gifts do not need to look identical to someone else's gifts. Your future does not need to follow another person's pattern. Learn from people, celebrate their progress, but do not abandon your identity trying to become a copy. My child, I am preparing you to recognize your own value without depending entirely upon the approval of others. There may come a time when someone sees the faithfulness you carried quietly. There may come a new connection, an opportunity, or an open door that reveals why certain earlier doors remained closed. When that moment comes, do not become proud and do not become fearful. Receive what is good with humility. Understand that elevation is not permission to forget the lessons that brought you there. The higher your responsibility becomes, the more important it is to remain grounded in truth. You have been asking for a change, but are you preparing yourself to handle it? You have prayed for greater opportunity, but are you developing the wisdom needed to protect it? You have asked to be noticed, but have you prepared your character for the attention that may follow? Recognition can bring responsibility. Favor can bring new expectations. A new season can require new discipline. This is why preparation matters. Do not merely pray for doors. Become ready to walk through them with maturity. Begin applying this in your life now. Be faithful with what is already in your hands. If you have a responsibility, complete it with integrity. If you have a gift, develop it. If you have made a mistake, learn from it. If there is something you need to repair, do not keep postponing it. You cannot control every opportunity, but you can prepare yourself for opportunity. You cannot force people to recognize you, but you can choose to live with consistency. You cannot guarantee every outcome, but you can refuse to waste the present day. Some of you have become discouraged because the future looks uncertain. You are trying to see 10 steps ahead when you only need light for the next one. Do not demand a complete map before you begin walking. Ask for wisdom, then obey the truth you already understand. Perhaps the next step is to rest. Perhaps it is to forgive. Perhaps it is to learn something new. Perhaps it is to stop spending time with voices that continually weaken your confidence. Perhaps it is to begin again after a mistake. The next step may be smaller than you expected, but do not despise small obedience. If this message reminds you that your waiting has not been meaningless, comment, "I am ready," below. Let those words become a personal reminder that you will prepare instead of merely complain, pray instead of panic, and continue instead of giving up. There are also doors that must remain closed until you understand why you wanted them so badly. Some desires were connected to your need for validation rather than your true purpose. Some opportunities looked attractive because you were tired of waiting, not because they were truly right for you. Be careful when exhaustion begins making decisions. When you are tired, every shortcut can appear wise. When you are lonely, every voice can appear trustworthy. When you are desperate, every open door can appear like an answer. Pause before moving. Ask whether what is in front of you brings peace, wisdom, and alignment with the life you are trying to build. You do not need to force what belongs to you. Effort is necessary, discipline is necessary, and courage is necessary, but desperation is not your guide. Do your part faithfully, then release the outcome. You have spent too much energy trying to convince people to choose you. Stop begging for places where your presence is continually treated as unimportant. Learn to recognize when it is time to move forward. Rejection can hurt, but it can also redirect. A closed door may reveal that your future is not meant to be built there. I am asking you to release the habit of interpreting every ending as failure. Some endings protect your peace. Some endings make room for growth. Some endings teach you to return to yourself and to me. You cannot begin every new chapter while gripping the pages that have already ended. Grieve what needs to be grieved, but do not remain there forever. Remember what you learned, but do not live as though the past still controls the room. Your life can change through ordinary decisions. Speak honestly, manage your resources wisely, keep promises, care for your health, make time for prayer, learn to listen before reacting, apologize when you are wrong, forgive when forgiveness becomes necessary, protect your attention from constant fear. These practices may seem small, but a strong future is often built through small choices repeated faithfully. There are opportunities ahead that may require you to trust your preparation. You may meet people who recognize something in you that you have doubted for years. You may receive an invitation that asks you to step beyond your familiar environment. You may discover that the place you thought was the end was only preparation for a different beginning. When these moments arrive, do not allow old insecurity to speak louder than present truth. You do not have to know everything before taking a faithful step. Stay humble, stay teachable, and remain close to the values that protected you during the difficult season. Do not become careless because circumstances improve. Do not abandon prayer because answers begin arriving. Do not forget gratitude because recognition becomes easier. Remember the lessons of the quiet years. Remember how deeply you needed peace. Remember what disappointment taught you about dependence upon temporary things. Carry wisdom into your next chapter. There is a future beyond the confusion you feel today. I am not asking you to pretend that every problem has disappeared. I am asking you to believe that your present difficulty does not have the final authority over your story. Continue to move with wisdom. Continue to prepare. Continue to trust that what you have learned can serve you. Continue to become the person capable of carrying the blessing you desire. Stay until the final part because there is still an important truth about restoration, provision, protection, and the purpose behind your next season. Do not let this remain only an emotional message. Write down what you need to change. Examine your habits. Strengthen your faith through action. Take one practical step today. You are not too late. You are not permanently behind. Your hidden season was not empty. Let patience become wisdom. Let pain become discernment. And let waiting become preparation. Keep your heart open, your character steady, and your eyes fixed on the next faithful step. What seemed delayed may yet reveal a deeper purpose. Keep walking with courage, because your story is still moving forward. Beloved, as you continue listening, I want you to understand that restoration is not always loud. Sometimes it begins quietly, in the moment you decide that fear will no longer direct every choice you make. Sometimes healing begins when you stop replaying the wound and start asking what wisdom can grow from it. Sometimes provision begins when you recognize what is already in your hands and become faithful with it. You have been waiting for one dramatic moment to change everything. But I am also teaching you to notice the small changes that prepare the way for greater ones. There are things in your life that need restoration, and you already know their names. Perhaps it is your peace. Perhaps it is your confidence. Perhaps it is trust within your family. Perhaps it is your ability to sleep without carrying tomorrow into the night. Perhaps it is hope concerning a situation that has remained uncertain for too long. Do not hide these needs behind religious words while your heart continues to suffer in silence. Bring the truth before me. Restoration begins where honesty is allowed to enter. I have seen the concern you carry about your home and the people you love. You want your family to be safe. You want relationships to become healthier. You want old misunderstandings to lose their power. You want the people closest to you to find peace. Yet you must remember that healing inside a family often requires patience, humility, truth, and changed behavior. Pray, but also listen. Love, but also communicate. Forgive, but also establish wisdom. Do not keep repeating the same destructive pattern while expecting a different result. My child, let peace begin with you. Before demanding understanding from everyone around you, examine the words you speak. Before expecting others to change, consider what you can change within your own behavior. Before allowing anger to control the conversation, pause long enough to understand what is truly happening. You cannot control another person's heart, but you can choose not to feed the conflict. You can choose honesty without cruelty. You can choose boundaries without hatred. You can choose forgiveness without returning to harmful patterns. Some of you are praying for a loved one whose condition, struggle, or choices have brought deep concern. Do not allow concern to become despair. Continue to offer prayer, encouragement, and practical help where it is needed. But release the belief that you must solve everything in one day. Restoration can be a journey. Healing can require patience. Change can begin with one honest conversation, one wise decision, one appointment, one act of repentance, or one moment when someone finally accepts help. Do not despise gradual progress. I am also speaking to the part of you that worries about provision. You have looked at your needs and wondered how everything will be managed. You have calculated what is missing. You have feared another unexpected expense. You have questioned whether there will be enough for tomorrow. Hear me, do not allow lack to become the permanent language of your mind. Wisdom is needed in your finances. Discipline is needed. Honesty about your resources is needed. But fear must not become your master. If this message has helped you see that restoration requires both faith and faithful action, comment, "I receive peace," below. Let it become your reminder to pray with sincerity, act with wisdom, protect your heart, and continue moving forward. I have not asked you to carry tomorrow today. I have asked you to trust me while doing the good that is within your hands. Release the weight that does not belong to you, care for what has been entrusted to you, and remain open to the good that can still enter your life. Beloved, now bring everything you have heard into your heart, because this is not the end of your journey. It is the moment when you must decide what you will carry forward and what you will finally leave behind. You have carried fear long enough. You have carried the memory of rejection long enough. You have carried questions that were never meant to become permanent chains around your mind. You have allowed past disappointments to stand at the entrance of every new possibility. But today, I am calling you to rise with wisdom and begin walking differently. You cannot enter a new season while continually agreeing with a voice that says nothing will ever change. You cannot expect peace while feeding your mind with fear from morning until night. You cannot pray for restoration while refusing to release the habits that continue destroying what you are asking me to heal. Faith must become more than a temporary feeling. It must enter your choices. It must influence your words. It must change the way you respond when pressure comes. I know you want answers about the future. You want to know how the door will open. You want to know when the waiting will end. You want to know who will remain and who will leave. You want to know how provision will arrive and how every difficult situation will finally be resolved. But you do not need every answer before taking the next faithful step. The future will not become clear by worrying about it every hour. Clarity often comes while you walk with wisdom. There are things I am asking you to release now. Release the need to be understood by everyone. Release the need to return to every place where people rejected you. Release the need to prove your worth to those who refuse to see it. Release the habit of comparing your beginning with someone else's middle. Release the guilt of mistakes that you have already learned from and brought before me. Stop reopening doors that peace has already asked you to close. Your life is valuable and your time is valuable. Use both with wisdom. Do not give every person unlimited access to your mind. Do not allow every opinion to become a burden. Learn to listen without losing your direction. Learn to receive correction without allowing criticism to destroy your confidence. Learn to forgive without abandoning discernment. You can have a soft heart and still maintain wise boundaries. My child, I am leading you toward a future that requires a stronger inner foundation. What is coming may include new responsibilities, new opportunities, new people, and new challenges. Do not become afraid simply because something is unfamiliar. The unfamiliar is not automatically dangerous. Sometimes it is the place where you discover that the lessons of your hidden season were preparing you more than you knew. There may be someone who recognizes the value you carried quietly. There may be a conversation that opens an unexpected opportunity. There may be a connection that brings guidance when you no longer expected help. There may be a door that opens without the exhausting struggle you once experienced. Receive these moments with gratitude, but do not make people your source. People can become part of the journey, but your peace must remain rooted deeper than their approval. Remember how you felt when nothing seemed to move. Remember the nights when you asked whether your faithfulness mattered. Remember how easily bitterness could have entered your heart. Then, remember the lessons you learned. Do not throw those lessons away when circumstances begin improving. Let humility remain with you. Let gratitude remain with you. Let compassion remain with you. One purpose of your future blessing is not only to change your life, but to help you become a source of encouragement, wisdom, and kindness to others. Your story can become meaningful when you refuse to waste what you have survived. The pain you experienced can help you understand someone who is struggling. The season when you lacked resources can teach you how to treat others with compassion. The rejection you survived can remind you to recognize people others overlook. The loneliness you felt can teach you to become present for someone who believes no one cares. Do not allow suffering to make your heart harder. Allow wisdom to grow from it. Stay with your faith when the answer takes longer than expected. Stay with your values when an easier path tempts you. Stay with gratitude when your circumstances improve. Stay with truth when emotions become overwhelming. Your future is not built through one emotional moment. It is built through faithful choices made repeatedly. I am restoring hope where disappointment tried to take it away. I am bringing clarity where confusion has remained. I am strengthening you where exhaustion has weakened you. I am reminding you that your past does not have permission to write the final chapter of your life. The doors that closed did not remove your purpose. The people who misunderstood you did not remove your value. The waiting season did not remove your future. So rise again. Rise with a wiser heart. Rise with greater discernment. Rise without needing to explain yourself to everyone. Rise without carrying the burden of proving your worth. Rise with humility, courage, and peace. Let your life become the answer to the doubts that once controlled you. If you have felt happy, encouraged, and strengthened by these words, type Amen and share this message with someone who may need hope today. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and continue watching these messages until the end because they are meant to help you reflect, grow, pray, and apply faith in your daily life. And if you feel led to support my ministry, so that more people can receive messages of hope and encouragement, you can use the support link given below. Thank you for walking through this message with an open heart. Now go forward in peace. Carry the lessons, release the fear, and remain faithful with the life before you. Your journey is still unfolding. Your purpose is still alive. Your healing can continue. Your family can still experience better days. Your opportunities can still grow. Your heart can still find rest. Do not give up at a chapter that was never meant to be the ending. Keep walking, keep trusting, keep learning, and let hope become visible through the way you live. You are not forgotten. You are not without purpose. You are not defined by the hardest moment you have survived. There is still more ahead. Take the next step with faith, and let every new day become another opportunity to live with wisdom, courage, gratitude, and peace.